That's the value where those guys help a kid like Killian. And if you're Isaiah Stewart, you're behind those guys watching what they do every day in practice in the way.
And we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
What's up? What's up? What's up, fellas? Welcome to the Narrative Talk Back. I thought I would just do a little noonday pop in with you guys and get this thing going. Just have a little bit of conversation with you guys a little bit about the Pistons and what's going on. So I said today's conversation was going to be based around Casey, and we're going to talk a little bit about Casey's process. We're going to talk a little bit about Casey's process. But as always, I'm going to ask you guys to always share the group, man. Share DPCs, share Detroit Pistons News. This is where I'll be streaming to. And also check out our YouTube channel. I will be posting inside the link. The YouTube channel is called The Narrative. And what we do there, man, we just get some Pistons fans. We got some live interviews. We already got some content on there. So any way you can support that, that'll be awesome. So subscribe and check out those channels and always support DPC Group. So for this little noonday pop-in, I wanted to do a piece where we're just going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Casey's process. Now, here we go. I'm going to say this right off the bat. We are not all going to agree, okay? We're not all going to agree on how development goes, the process of development. Those are just some things we're never going to agree on. We all have different minds. We all have different opinions. So what I want to propose to you, gentlemen, is to maybe let's talk about the options that are available. So this way that no one can be right, no one can be wrong. This won't be long. We're just going to talk about the options. But I'm going to say this. When Casey came on board 3 years ago, everybody was excited. Most people were excited. I can say everybody. Most people were excited that we got a coach of the year. We got the coach from the team up north. Casey came into a situation when it was like win now situation. So when he came in, we had Drummond in place, Reggie Jackson in place. We had Blake now on roster. Blake had an all-star year. Drummond had a semi-all-star year, although he didn't make it. And Reggie Jackson had a good bounce-back year, give or take with the injuries being in and out the lineup. During that time, when Reggie Jackson, Blake Griffin, Drummond were all in a lineup together, realized that we had a winning record. I believe it was almost 8 to 10 games over 500 when all of them were healthy. We go into the playoff as an 8th seed. We get knocked off by the best team at the time in the NBA with the Milwaukee Bucks with the MVP of the league. We come back into year two. Just to recap, in year two, what happens? Blake is injured. Luke Kennard is injured. We're talking about trading Drummond. Reggie Jackson has a slow start. All of these things factored into our situation of last year being where we're at now. We come into this year, we have a new GM, Troy Weaver. We have a whole new roster. Like the only players who remain from last year's roster is Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin. So let's just put it in context. We are in a rebuild, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's popping or not, we're in a rebuild. So based off of this rebuild that we're currently in, it's like, so what are the steps? Like what's going on? A lot of people, oh, why is Blake playing so many minutes? Why is Blake playing so many minutes? I'm just going to give some alternatives, some potential options. So let's go with option number one. That Casey, almost 26 years of NBA experience, he thinks that they can win with Blake Griffin. If you think that Casey, 26 years NBA experience, believes that he can win with this team with Blake Griffin, that is option number one. I don't think that's what Casey is thinking, but that may be what some people are thinking, that Casey wants to win and he thinks Blake Griffin is the answer. I don't think that's the answer, but maybe you guys do. Option number two, what if, I'm just saying what if, work with me, what if Casey, Blake Griffin, and Weaver all sat down and the conversation went something like this? Hey guys, I'll accept a buyout from you before the All-Star break, but I want to play enough minutes to show these other NBA teams that I'm capable of still playing so that they may potentially sign me after the buyout and after you waive me. What if that's the situation? What if the situation is literally we're playing Blake Griffin for the first 30 games so he can show the other teams that he's capable of playing heavy minutes. He'll accept a buyout or they'll negotiate a buyout and he's gone. I'm just saying alternatives. Would that be the worst thing, that in the first 30 games that rookies and maybe Sekou not getting heavy minutes, but for the last 30 to 40 games they get heavy minutes? What if that's it? What if this is the option? What if the option is a simple option? What if it's, hey, these are young guys. They didn't finish their whole college season. They're not fully conditioned for the NBA. They're not really understanding the playbooks because we're in a pandemic. Blake, what we need you to do is we need you to kind of carry the weight of playing heavy minutes early to take that burden off of them. But in the second half of the season, in the last 40 games, in the last 35 games, in the last whatever amount of games, we're going to rest you and you're only going to play about 25 minutes a game. Or we're going to bring you off the bench. Or what if this is the last option? We're showing that Blake still has value, some shape, form, or fashion, that he can be a glue piece. He doesn't have to be the main cog, but he can be a healthy glue piece to another team. Maybe that's why Blake isn't shooting as much. He wants to show that I can be a facilitator. I can play in the pass game. I can stamp out and not be the main ball dominant person. And maybe we'll take some bad contracts to move Blake sooner than later. All I'm saying is that there's more than one option. But the concept or the idea that we're not playing rookies, meaning that we don't understand. Let me show you something. I hope these short well. These are direct quotes from our GMs and our coach. This is Weaver. We want to come in and establish a mindset of being competitive every day in practice. This is where Iverson, practice, yes, in practice, so that it can carry over in 2 games. This is what Weaver said. This is Casey. This is what Casey is saying. Casey is saying, hey, look at it. It may not be in game, but it may be in practice. But they're going to get their minutes. Here it is, Weaver. Come back to Weaver. Stick with your plans and make your plan work. Guys, they could just be trying to make the plan work. So I'm not saying that we have to agree, but we have to look at it reasonably. What is more likely? Do we really believe a coach of the year, Dwayne Casey, is looking at Blake and saying that Blake is going to help us win more games? Or is he saying the other 3 options? The other 3 options of potentially a buyout, trying to get his value up, or allowing these young guys to get a maturation time. Let them get adjusted to the speed of the NBA. Let them get adjusted to the playbook. Which one sound more reasonable? It is not more reasonable to assume the latter is that he is believing in Blake Griffin is going to carry this team anywhere. I believe he's using Blake Griffin, or they've already worked out a deal amongst each other that over time, you're going to see Blake minutes go down and you're going to see Bay minutes go up. You're going to see Sekou minutes go up. You're going to see Stewart minutes go up. Once again, let's break it down, guys. Killian Hayes was starting. Bay is giving you almost 20 minutes off the bench. Stewart is giving you 17 some minutes off the bench. He hurts himself with fouls. Sekou, I agree. But let's also remember last year what the issue with Sekou was. Sekou wasn't coming to practice. It was reported Sekou not coming to practice. Sekou wasn't in condition. Sekou wasn't working hard. So if they had to make him earn it a little bit more this year, so be it. It's only the first 15, 16 games. These are problems you worry about if we were 30, 40 games in the season. The idea of fire Casey because he's not playing Sekou. Sekou was not a lottery pick. He was not a top 5 pick in this draft. Stewart is not a top 5 pick in this draft. Bay, and I like Bay, not a top 5 pick in this draft. You do not see situations where non-lottery pick as rookies get heavy minutes. I challenge any of you, find me a situation where a non-lottery pick was getting 30 minutes a game in his first year. Even Sekou coming back. I'm just saying, let's not jump off the boat like to say Casey is not legit because he's not playing Sekou heavy minutes in the first 16 games, when there could be a plan in place. Anyway, guys, as I said, man, I didn't want to be long today. I just want to drop in and do a little noonday nugget and just wanted to get you guys feedback and get you guys thoughts on some of these things, man. Like I said, we can agree to disagree about some of the scenarios, but I want to be clear. I am not saying that playing Blake is the best solution. I'm saying playing Blake may be part of a plan. It could be leading to something, and we should be patient with the process. For those who said they wanted a rebuild, this is what a rebuild looks like. A rebuild is not just throwing rookies on the floor or young players on the floor and saying, go. There are other dynamics. There's a front office dynamic. There's a coaching dynamic. There's a development dynamic. None of those things have to take place on the floor. So once again, just another perspective. Just wanted to talk about some narratives. If you can do me a favor, guys, once I put it inside the description, please start liking, sharing this. Some of you guys may have to copy the link and then send it out. I appreciate it, man. But please support DPC, invite people to the group, support Detroit Piston News, support any Detroit Piston group. As I always say, those men's put in a lot of work to keep those things popping. All right, salute. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for some future things we have coming on.